Hi Virgo, happy early birthday and welcome back to the Astrology 33 channel. This is your August 2025 tarot reading. Thank you to those of you who have liked, viewed, shared, and subscribed to the channel. I appreciate all of that. For those of you new to the channel, as far as what we have in front of us, it's a Celtic crossbred as always, and I also pulled the 4 agreements and wisdom the oracle card for you guys. We're actually going to start the reading off by rolling those astrology guys who we have in front of us to get an idea of where your focus should be as far as that goes. Alright, we have 1. So yeah. Naturally, you could just be saying you have a lot of focus on yourselves this month, but at the very least, this also makes you think of the fact that as we progress toward the end of August, of course, we'll be in your season, so we'll have the sun moving in there. We'll actually have a new moon in your sign on the 23rd of August, and there's actually going to be a second new moon in your sign in September, so that's a little rare. But yeah, what else is going on in your sign? We have Mars still in your sign until the 6th of August. I think that's about it. But yeah, we have Jupiter. So Jupiter is actually in Cancer, which is your 11th house of friendships, groups, hopes, and wishes. And we have Scorpio. So that area of the zodiac is pretty quiet right now, but for you guys, Scorpio is your 3rd house of communication, short journeys, and siblings. So keep all that in mind as we go through the main spread. In the main situation position, we have the Knight of Cups, and challenging that, we have the Strength card. So this is Leo energy here, and then this is Pisces energy. So I can see this playing out a couple different ways. It could just be saying that for some of you, someone wants to make an offer to you, and you're resisting that, even though you might actually want to accept the offer. Or for others of you, it's that you want to make an offer to someone, but again, there's that resistance there as far as you actually coming forward to make the offer. So, could be reasons for that, but maybe you might feel like, it could be maybe more of an ego-led decision on your part to either extend or accept an offer, so that could be why you might be holding yourselves back from doing so at this time. In the foundation position, we have the Knight of Wands. So Sagittarius energy here. So yeah, so to me this is another indicator that says that you really do want to accept the offer though, or extend the offer, but again, it just seems like there's something holding you back from doing so. And for some of you, maybe this is even saying because in the past you might have been more in this energy where you were just jumping into situations without a lot of forethought, and that might have actually backfired on you guys at a certain point. So maybe now you're a little bit more hesitant to jump into the energy again. All right. In the past position, we have the Four of Pentacles. So yeah, so it looks like you've actually been a little bit closed off for a while now. Now, this doesn't always have to have as negative of a connotation as it's often given in tarot, but at the very least, to me, this says you're being very thoughtful around any moves that you would make, right? And ultimately, because you valued what you had to offer, right? So it's like, okay, where am I going to invest my resources, whether that be time, money, energy? So yeah, it looks like you've been thinking about where you wanted to dedicate those things in the past. Right. In the present position, we have the Eight of Swords. So yeah, so it could just be saying, with all that in mind, it looks like now you could just be feeling a little bit stuck around actually taking action. And this does make me think of the fact that recently Uranus moved into Gemini, which is, it's in the 1st degree really, which is basically what this represents. So it could just be saying that for some of you, this could even be maybe a career shift that you're considering, but maybe there's a little bit of hesitancy on your part to actually make that leap. It doesn't have to be career, but it came to mind given that Gemini does represent that area of the sky for you guys. In the near future position, we have the Three of Swords. So yeah, so this definitely is an energy that could represent disappointment. Now, people do tend to think of this as like a love-related thing from the artwork here, but it doesn't necessarily have to be that. Especially given that for you guys, Libra is more of a finance house anyway. So for some of you, this could just be saying that through your reluctance to either extend an offer or accept an offer, and feeling stuck, you could actually end up missing out on an opportunity. So, just something to think about there. All right. In the position of your influence in the situation, we have the Hermit. So, this is actually the major arcana card for your sign. So, not too surprising to see that come up, and especially when we think about the fact that we saw first house come up for you with the dice as well. But yeah, seeing this here to me says that this is really just the energy you're in, right? Where you don't want to make a careless decision. So you really are trying to think things through and take a very measured approach before, again, extending or accepting an offer. In the environment position, we have the Two of Wands. So yeah, so to me, this shows that the environment is supporting action on your part. So what I would say is, there's a way to take that measured approach, but not just be stuck in that Eight of Swords energy, right? So to me, let's say it's around a romantic offer, right? And then it's like, well, you could just take a more casual route around it initially, right? Like, okay, I mean, I'd jump into something based on passion, right? Because maybe that's what the shrimp card's about. You might feel a strong pull toward this person, but you might think that that's not practical, and that could be why you're holding back, right? So it could just say try to take a more practical approach to things if that's the case. Or let's say even if it's around some job opportunity you're interested in, but you're not fully sure if you're ready to jump into it. Could just be saying, well, at least put in your resume, right? Maybe you get called for an interview and you might decide, you know what, now that I took the interview, no way in hell would I want that job, right? Or you might say, no, you know what, I was a little bit on the fence, a little bit doubtful as to whether it was right for me, but now I'm sure that it's absolutely what I want, right? So it could just be one of those things where it's saying you could take measured action toward the thing without fully committing yourself to it. Just at least not let the opportunity pass you by altogether. All right. In the hopes or fears position, we have the King of Cups. So Scorpio energy here, which we did see come up in the dice as well. So yeah, so for whatever reason, it looks like you could have a little bit of hesitancy around communicating whatever's on your mind this month. So if this is around, like we said, a financial situation, romantic situation, friendship, you name it. Now, I mean, I will say it does make sense to an extent because we basically just had that Mercury retrograde kick off, and it is in your 12th house. So 12th house energy could be a little tricky to navigate to begin with, but then throw a Mercury retrograde on top of that, and right, it could be even trickier. So maybe that's what it is primarily for you guys, where you're just a little bit possibly overly self-conscious right now of how you're coming across or how you might come across. So that could be holding you back a little bit at this time. All right. In the outcome position, we have the Emperor. So yeah, so to me this says that at least it looks like by the time we do get toward the end of the month, you will be feeling a lot more confident in yourselves, and because of that, you probably will be able to either, again, whether it's you accepting an offer or extending an offer, looks like you'll be more ready to embrace that a little bit later in the month. And it could just be as simple as saying that, yeah, once all the energy starts to move into your sign, then maybe that's going to be that fuse that you needed to have lit to get you going. All right. And the bottom of the deck, we have the moon. So yeah, it's like we said, maybe this is just where you're at right now. There could be a bit of a lack of clarity that has you a little hesitant, which again, like we said, given the stuff moving through Leo as we progress through the month makes sense, right? Because that's anytime that's 12th house transits for you guys. But then, like we said, having the Mercury retrograde on top of that in that 12th house could definitely be cause a bit of confusion for you. All right, from the Four Agreements deck, we have don't take anything personally, and it says your truth is personal to you. All right, it says your own opinions and point of view reflect your own agreements and are personal to you. It is no one's truth but yours. So yeah, have an interesting message there, right? Especially if maybe this represents just a lot of external noise, right? That maybe You might have felt sure about something, but then once everyone else put their input into the mix, that might have caused more confusion for you. So if that's the case, hopefully that message resonated there. And from the Wisdom of the Oracle, we have Never Ending Story. There's the artwork, and the number is 37. So we'll see what this has to say. All right, essential meanings says self-criticism, the wounded ego, unnecessary dramas. The Oracle's message: there is a story woven through the imperfect fabric of life that tells of hurt and loss, rejection and humiliation, self-loathing and arrogance, and all manner of suffering born of unnecessary dramas. It is the old story whose refrain is that you cannot do this, must not go there, should not say that, lest your world come crumbling down. Today, know that none of this is actually true. The sky is not falling. The voice you hear is just a small, scared, conditioned part of you that got stuck in a lie, wants to protect you, and needs to be seen as a victim. Love that lost piece of you. Fear is all it knows. Distorted guidance is preventing you from being true to yourself. You are not your story, and the narrator is simply the voice of your fearful part, small and vulnerable and easily soothed. So definitely an interesting message there, right? Because it's a bit of a heavy message, but to me it makes me think of an energy of release, right? And like we said, you have a lot going on in your 12th house, but having a Mercury retrograde in your 12th house is a bit more of a rare transit. So that could be maybe what's helping that come to the forefront for you guys this month. The relationship message says sometimes your heart enters into a contract with another that results in pain, not because of abuse or neglect, but for other more complex reasons. Shame, fear of intimacy, and low self-esteem are the greatest challenges to the success of a relationship. Consider how valuable this knowledge is, however. Right now, you have an opportunity for important healing, but you must reflect on the stories you weave about love, connection, abandonment, rejection, and loneliness. Not only do you need to begin a new story, you need to forgive yourself for telling yourself the old ones. Have compassion for the part of you that believes all those narratives. None of them were ever true anyway. So yeah, definitely an interesting message there, especially if this is, like I said, for some of you, maybe if you're resisting making an offer or accepting an offer, and if that is of more of a romantic type of offer, hopefully that resonated. And the prosperity message says fear, envy, procrastination, greed, and the perception of victimhood could all be active in your life at this moment. Are you comparing yourself with others, thinking their success should be yours? Maybe you're afraid of all the good that is coming your way, so you step out of your lane, totally aware of what you're doing, but seemingly powerless to stop yourself? Are you back where you started, or in a situation that reminds you of past failures? Financial insecurity scaring you? You must learn to love yourself through missteps and sabotaging moments. Use criticism constructively right now. Better yet, stop telling the story altogether. Make up a new one. The universe loves you deeply and will wait for you to figure that out. Tell a new story and success is all but guaranteed. You can do it. So yeah, definitely an interesting message there, right? Because it sounds a bit more like a type of a reinvention. And like I said, I think I mentioned at the beginning that, you are going to have a new moon in your sign on the 23rd of August, but then there's also going to be a second new moon in your sign toward the very end of Virgo season. So that's a bit of a rare thing to have two new moons in your sign. The things have to align just right for that. But yeah, so maybe that's going to help as far as any shifts that you might be making as well over the next month or two. But once again, happy early birthday. We'll wrap up there, and I'll see you all next month. All right, bye.